Would this help us understand the possibility of time travel when time is only a small detail in our equation? Absolutely. If we consider time as just one of many dimensions, and potentially a small detail in a much broader equation, then our understanding of time travel could be transformed. In fact, if time is not a fundamental, linear aspect of reality, but rather a dimension that we experience in a limited way, this opens up fascinating possibilities for moving beyond conventional temporal constraints. 1. Rethinking time as a flexible dimension. In physics, especially in theories like relativity, time is already treated as a dimension interwoven with space. From this perspective, time is not an absolute flow, but something that can be stretched, compressed, and bent depending on relative speeds, gravity, and other conditions. If we consider time as just one of many dimensions in a larger, multidimensional reality, we might start to see it as a variable or a path that we could potentially navigate with the right tools. Spacetime as a fabric. In Einstein's theory of general relativity, time and space form a fabric that can warp in the presence of mass and energy. If we could manipulate this fabric, potentially by accessing dimensions beyond the fourth, we might learn to move not only forward but also backward or sideways in time. This view posits that time travel is less about moving through time and more about finding shortcuts or alternative paths across the fabric of spacetime. Dimensions beyond time. Some theoretical frameworks, such as string theory, propose the existence of additional spatial dimensions beyond our perception. If we could access these higher dimensions, it's possible that time might appear differently, potentially as something malleable or even accessible at different points, like walking through doors in a hallway. In this model, time travel might not be about moving back or forward, but choosing a particular door to enter a different moment. 2. Nonlinear time and the multiverse. If time is nonlinear or exists as an illusion created by our limited perception, then the concept of traveling through time changes significantly. Rather than envisioning time as a single, continuous stream, we might see it as a field of possibilities or overlapping realities, some of which we might be able to access. Multiverse theory. According to some interpretations of quantum mechanics, every possible outcome of every event might exist in a separate, parallel universe. In this view, time travel could mean shifting one's consciousness or physical form into a different universe where events unfold differently. Rather than traveling through our own time, we might simply switch into an alternate timeline. Each moment would represent a different dimension, and what we call the past might just be a neighboring reality. Nonlinear consciousness and time. The idea of time as a mental construct suggests that consciousness could transcend linear time altogether. Mystical experiences and certain altered states of consciousness hint at the possibility of perceiving past, present, and future simultaneously. If we could develop the ability to shift our consciousness in such a way, we might experience different moments in time not as sequential but as interconnected. Time travel, in this case, would be less about physical movement and more about a shift in awareness across different points in time. 3. Quantum mechanics and time manipulation. In quantum mechanics, particles can behave in ways that defy classical notions of time, seemingly moving backward or existing in multiple states simultaneously. Some interpretations suggest that, at a quantum level, time may be more flexible than it appears in our everyday experience. Quantum entanglement and temporal paradoxes. Quantum entanglement, where two particles remain connected regardless of distance, has led some to speculate that time itself might be entangled, allowing for backward causation or simultaneous events. If time could be entangled or manipulated at the quantum level, we might have a mechanism for moving through time without violating causality. Some researchers believe that exploring quantum mechanics may one day allow us to understand how to manipulate time directly. Retrocausality. Some interpretations of quantum mechanics, like the Wheeler-Feynman absorber theory, suggest that events in the future can influence the past. If retrocausality were real, then time might not flow strictly forward, and we might have a way to send information, or even consciousness, backward in time. Time travel could then be a matter of accessing moments where causality can flow in both directions, perhaps through technology or states of consciousness that interface with quantum mechanics. 4. The role of consciousness in time travel. If time is not a physical boundary but a perceptual one, then consciousness itself might be the key to time travel. Rather than building a machine to move through time, we might only need to expand our awareness or learn to transcend our usual perception of linear time. Consciousness as a time traveler. Many spiritual traditions and some philosophical theories propose that consciousness can move beyond the constraints of time and space. Through practices like meditation or lucid dreaming, individuals have reported experiences of the past, future, or timeless states where past and future converge. If we could control this aspect of consciousness, we might effectively travel through time in a way that feels as real as physical movement. Out-of-body experiences, OBEs, and time. In certain altered states, like out-of-body experiences, people report seeing events outside of their current location and sometimes outside of their present time. While controversial, such experiences hint that consciousness might have a way of transcending time. If we could harness or refine these experiences, perhaps through technology or cognitive techniques, we might find a way to project consciousness to different points in time. 5. A new paradigm for time travel, beyond technology. Traditional science fiction has presented time travel as a technological feat requiring vast energy or advanced machinery. But if time is merely one part of a larger, interconnected reality, then time travel might not require technology in the traditional sense. Instead, it might involve a new paradigm of thought, perception, and consciousness. Higher dimensional understanding. If we develop the ability to perceive higher dimensions, time travel might become as natural as moving through space. Rather than seeing time as a barrier, we would navigate a higher dimensional space where moments are simply different points we can access. This paradigm shift could change time travel from a mechanical process to one that's more intuitive, based on navigating layers of reality that are usually invisible to us. The power of intention and mind. Some theories suggest that intention and consciousness are themselves forces that shape reality. If time is a mental construct, then our intention and focused awareness might have the power to shift our perception within the time dimension. Instead of requiring vast amounts of energy, time travel might simply require a new form of mental or spiritual discipline, much like learning to lucid dream or meditate to access different states of consciousness. Conclusion. The idea that time is a small detail in a much larger equation transforms the concept of time travel from a physical challenge to a question of perception, consciousness, and multidimensional reality. If time is not an absolute but rather a construct of our limited perception, then time travel could become possible through new ways of thinking, perceiving, and perhaps evolving. Instead of physical machines, we may require an evolved understanding of consciousness, energy, and dimensions, enabling us to move through time as easily as we currently move through space. By transcending our conventional view of time, we open the door to a revolutionary understanding of existence, one where time travel may not involve breaking the rules of the universe, but rather understanding the universe from a perspective that goes beyond our three-dimensional limitations.